Hello and welcome to Rip Daddy's House. I'm your gracious host, Dave Makes Noises, and today we're asking the internets, what way did you use a useless spell in a good way? Part 1. Not a spell, but spell-based item. Wand of Pyrotechnics. This has not happened yet, but this is my plan on how to deal with an upcoming encounter. We are going up against a false hydra that has the ability to make anyone that hears the singing no longer see, hear, or remember seeing it. So my plan? I cast silence over the group to negate the singing. We can't hear it, so we should be safe, right? If one of us should still be affected by the creature for whatever reason, I plan to coordinate with my mates that we use pointing, or in my case, I will use the Wand of Pyrotechnics to signal the position of the creature so we keep attacking it. In a cave that we explored because we were trapped due to a wyvern guarding our exit, there was a room with white silky stuff later identified as spiderweb. How we knew this was because out of one of the 4 holes on the top of the ceiling had giant spiders coming out. When I saw this, I immediately used bonfire in one of the 4 holes, instantly catching fire to the entire chute and killing 2 more giant spiders. The main reason is because I have arachnophobia IRL and was like, nope, no way. The reason it lit up so fast is because it was full of webbing, and it was really flammable. At the end of the session, the DM told me that he did not expect it and was really upset that it happened. Granted, minor illusion is certainly not useless, but for our party's circumstances, it was entirely useless at the time. Our party was trying to get information from some orcs about a raid that we knew was going to happen tomorrow morning, and we thought our hometown was the target. All of the orcs had been bested in combat and subsequently bound up and knocked out, save for one that our barbarian was interrogating. The orc said he'd never tell a word and that he'd rather die or walk away with too much gold to carry.
Well, seems like he won't budge. You'll have to find another way to.
Wait,
Yes, Thal?
I cast minor illusion.
Well, that won't help very much, and you can use better
I'd like to turn an ordinary rock into an expensive-looking adamantium necklace. Sneakily, of course.
Roll sleight of hand.
Dice. Nat 20. Will this be enough payment, good sir? Waving the necklace around. Suffice it to say, we got more than enough info and let the orcs go. We didn't plan on killing them anyways. Let me tell you about prestidigitation. I used it to communicate via small effects and subtitles, which led to some funny role-playing moments with my friends. I was playing a mute bard in a one-shot, and I had a lot of fun with that cantrip. DM here. In our party, there's an elven bard who, as part of her backstory, came up with her own unique musical instrument called the olaphone, with very minor magical properties. To incorporate that into a game mechanic, I invented a personal cantrip for her, concentrated listening. It's a 10-minute concentration thing, which, as long as she plays the olaphone and focuses the magical energy on a creature, upon a failed wisdom save, that creature is effectively inactive. It cannot move, take actions, or generally focus on anything else unless directly provoked. It's not the most useful thing to do, but I think it's just as powerful as a cantrip would generally allow. My idea behind it was that perhaps the bard would cast it on one hostile creature to pacify it in case the party was ever on the verge of being overwhelmed in combat. But to this day, she hasn't actually used it in combat once. Instead, she casts it on random angry NPCs that the party meets along the way, mostly to prevent silly little disputes such as pub brawls. Arguably, it's a good use. Less people walk home with bruises and missing teeth. Perhaps the world is a little bit brighter thanks to our pacifistic, conflict-avoiding bard. In a battle with goblins or something and used prestidigitation to have the blood splatter more on the fighter in a war paint fashion when they were in a fighting frenzy and scare over half away on implied intimidation. Well, Zone of Truth, some say it's good, some say it's trash, but me being wise as a barbarian in general, I knew what to do. Backstory: Teresa, me, a barbarian princess general named Lee. There's Stephanie, our tiefling paladin cleric, who is married to 2 gods, important for later. There's Ivan, our tiefling bard warlock. There's Sir Pinecock, our rogue human. Leo, our human fighter. Lastly, there is Ivy's, our half-elf rogue warlock. So a little backstory: our party has been entrusted by the gods to go kill the older gods of this pantheon, which is a combo of Greek, Roman, Norse, and D&D mythos. So we had to travel to the City of Magic, which do not like technology. So we thought the logical thing to do was to fly our airship to the edge of the kingdom and park it and stroll right on in. So when we got to the gate of the city, 2 guards approached the party and asked us to state our business. Ivan, who is also Russian. Don't worry, I got this. PC, who controls Ivan. DM, I would like to make a persuasion roll. DM. Okay, first say what is on your mind, then roll. Ivan turns to the party and says, Don't worry, I got this. Ivan walks up to the guards. Hey, please let us into the city. We've got the business. DM, roll. Ivan, 32. DM, The guards instantly believe you. As you walk into the city, you are stopped by 4 more guards asking why you're here. Ivan tried to do the same thing again and got a 5. DM, who is playing the guards: nice try, but we want the real reason. So Stephanie explains to the guards that we are on a quest sent from the gods to slay the old gods of the realm. She even went so far as to show the wedding band she has from the 2 gods she is married to. The guards still don't believe us. Now, I'm getting a little tired of this because the party is being stupid, so I said this: guys, we're in the city of magic, bloody magic. They should know the spell Zone of Truth. As I look to the guards, cast Zone of Truth on all of us, and I guarantee you we'll all have the same story. So we all failed the saving throw automatically to tell the truth. The guards, standing slack-jawed in awe, just showed us to the place where we needed to go. TLDR, Barbarian uses magic in an unexpected way to make our way through the Magic City. Gust of wind, which saved my life. We were underground, and because I activated my magic sense, aka detect magic, I spotted 3 phase spiders crawling on the ceiling and preparing for an ambush on us. So our guide lighted up the scene, and our bard rolled a nat 20 on perception, being able to locate those pesky spiders, so no surprise round. And one of the spiders clinged on an edge of the platform we were standing on, so I got an idea. I took out my focus of the wind, which allows me to cast Gust of Wind once a day, and leaf blowed it towards the spider. It failed the strength check and was sent flying towards the bottom, which we couldn't see because it was really dark. In my most recent campaign, the DM kicked me out of the entire Discord server because she has confrontation issues unless things bottle up instead of discussing things, but that's another story, lol. So I was a water genasi named Starsong. It's not something I had done, but something I was planning to do and had discussed beforehand with my teammate so that he understood what exactly I was doing. We were facing 10 bandits or so at level 2. In a canyon, the DM railroaded us into by saying we wandered off the forest path without our input, or at least they were talked up to be feline-like bandits. Heavily robed and silent, or something. Cross between cultists and bandits, maybe? I don't know. I had already put a few to sleep and knocked a couple others off, but the other team members weren't doing so hot, so I was going to make a barrier. A couple foot high at least wall of mud, with my shape water cantrip so as to save spell slots and provide shelter from their attacks. I was also going to use the sense motive check I had buffs in, as well as thunderwave if it turned out I sensed anything evil about their motives, which would count as the only spell I used during that turn. Alas, I was removed due to some passive-aggressive insults from the DM and overly controlling confrontation-avoidant behavior from them for other reasons. This meant that, since the whole group was through the server on Discord, I now had 0 contact with any of them. Fine by me. I can always find another group to play with where my genius use of cantrips and spells will be much better appreciated. Indeed, you might find another group to play with at MrRipper's Group Finder Discord server. Haha, nailed it. I used a spell my DM thought a bard would never pick up in first session. Our party is traipsing through the woods. A half-orc druid, a tiefling bard, my character, an elf fighter, a tabaxi rogue, a warlock giant frog, DM was really lenient on character creation, and a half-Azamar kobold. We are hunting down a goblin stronghold the town blacksmith was inquiring about as it was causing problems for the town. We roll perceptions and notice 2 buildings in the distance, a shoddy wooden wall and a stone tower. The druid heads it alone to the stone tower, while the rest of us make our way to the obvious goblin stronghold. Ranger and warlock go stealth, and observe from a distance while my bard, the tabaxi, and fighter walk right up to the front gate, and the rogue pushes open the door, triggering the ballista trap. Luckily, we all made our saves and were unharmed, but now all 25 of the goblins in the fort were aware of our existence and were suiting up. Trying to salvage the situation, I cast Thaumaturgy and yell,
"All who walk on 2 legs are allowed into camp."
And the goblins collectively rolled low enough to believe God was talking to them, but still not wholly convinced. As we walk in, I start playing my lyre and roll to charm the goblins. I didn't roll too high, but it didn't matter, as the goblin collective rolled a 1 to resist. Every single one of them came down unarmed and began dancing around my character as I played. It's at this point, I look at the DM and ask how many of them are in a 15-foot cube centered on me. All of them. They are dancing around you. All right, I cast Thunderwave. DM looks confused, then smirks. Why the hell do you have Thunderwave? I don't know. Sounded useful. Goblins didn't get a save since it was considered a surprise round and were charmed. Roll damage, and I got a total of 7. 25 dead goblins and 1 dex save for the other 2 there to dodge flying goblin corpses. All that was left was the hobgoblin leader, and he wasn't happy. First I attempt intimidation, with a static bonus for wiping out his contingent. Failed. Attempt Atasha's hideous laughter. Failed. In retribution for my obscene luck on the previous rolls, the dice gods were now punishing me, but not unfairly. Both the rolls to resist intimidation and Tasha's were 19s. He made his way over to me and knocked my character unconscious in 1 hit. Then the fighter went down. having failed her goblin avoidance dex save. Thankfully, the warlock was within range to rain eldritch blasts and Tasha's himself, and they managed to take him down and stabilize our fallen heroes, as the half-orc ran back into the camp breathless, carrying a mute 12-year-old child, an Azamar that she had just saved from the cult shit happening in the other structure. A hearty hello, and thank you for saving us an attunement slot and watching to the very end. If you used a useless spell in a useful way, feel free to use the comment section below to share it with us. And if you have another story to share with the community, please do so on our official subreddit, r/MrRipper, where there's always a good chance your story could end up on a future video or stream. If you're looking for some friends to play D&D or other tabletop games with, you'll find over 3,500 nerdos and counting at Mr. Ripper's Group Finder Discord server who are looking to roll the bones with you. I hope that this week you take some time to disconnect from the screens and reconnect to whatever else is going on around you. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Dave Makes Noises. You have been such a treat. Please sub for Nat 20s. Ding that dong for a buff to your charisma. We love you here at Rip Daddy's house, and we'll see you next time.